Hello and welcome back to Rise and Reflect. Over the past 2 episodes, we've explored the trap of perfectionism and the hidden costs it brings into our lives. We've seen how it can drain our energy, damage our relationships, and keep us locked in a cycle of never feeling good enough. But today is different. Today, we're talking about solutions. This episode is about breaking free from perfectionism and learning practical steps you can take to create a healthier, more balanced life. So if you've ever felt paralyzed by your own standards, if you've ever stayed up late rechecking details, or if you constantly compare yourself to others, this episode is for you. Take a deep breath, relax, and let's dive in. Part 1, Shifting the Mindset. The very first step in overcoming perfectionism is redefining what success means to you. Perfectionists tend to see success as flawless execution, no mistakes, and constant approval from others. But here's the truth. Perfection doesn't exist. What really matters is progress, learning, and growth. Instead of asking, "Did I do it perfectly?" ask, "Did I grow? Did I learn? Did I move forward?" Let's take an example. Imagine a student writing an essay. A perfectionist spends endless hours rewriting the introduction, terrified of getting it wrong. In the end, they're exhausted, and maybe the essay isn't even finished. A healthier mindset would be, this essay doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to communicate my ideas clearly. The second mindset shift is self-compassion. We often speak to ourselves in ways we would never speak to a friend. You're not good enough. You always mess up. But if a close friend made a mistake, you wouldn't attack them, you'd encourage them. So why not treat yourself with the same kindness? Try this. Next time you catch yourself being harsh, pause and ask, what would I say if someone I love was in this situation? Then say those words to yourself. Part 2, Daily Habits to Break the Cycle. Changing your mindset is powerful, but daily habits are what keep you grounded. Here are some simple practices you can start using today. 1. Set realistic goals. One of the biggest traps of perfectionism is trying to do everything at once. A perfectionist wakes up with a list of 10 or 15 things to do, and at the end of the day, even if they complete 8, they focus only on the 2 they didn't finish. That creates a constant feeling of failure. The solution is to set realistic, focused goals. Instead of overwhelming yourself, choose the top 3 priorities for the day, the tasks that matter most. Write them down and let everything else be optional. Example, instead of finish project, clean the house, cook dinner, answer 30 emails, exercise, read a book, and learn a new skill. Try, finish the project draft, reply to urgent emails, and cook dinner. This approach creates a sense of achievement at the end of the day, rather than guilt. It also gives you the freedom to celebrate extra tasks as a bonus, not a requirement. 2. Use the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule, also called the Pareto principle, says that in many situations, 80% of the results come from 20% of the causes. 20% of the effort creates 80% of the results. For perfectionists, this rule is a lifesaver. Why? Because perfectionists spend endless hours on the last tiny details, the last 20% of effort that barely changes the outcome but massively increases stress. Example, imagine you're preparing a presentation. The first 2 hours you spend building clear slides and practicing your delivery give you 80% of the quality. The next 5 hours you waste adjusting font sizes, changing colors, or rewriting the same sentence over and over. That's the perfectionist trap. By reminding yourself of the 80-20 rule, you can recognize when a task is already good enough and move on. This doesn't mean you accept poor work. It means you focus on what has real impact, not on polishing endlessly. 3. Create time limits. Perfectionism thrives on endless tweaking. Just 5 more minutes turns into hours of rewriting, editing, or rechecking. Setting time limits helps you cut this cycle. How to do it? Before starting a task, decide exactly how long you'll spend on it. Use a timer if needed. When the time is up, stop, even if it's not perfect. Example, you need to prepare a report. Normally, a perfectionist might spend 4 hours making it flawless. Instead, give yourself 90 minutes. When time is up, you submit it. The truth is, most of the time, others won't even notice the tiny details you obsess over. This method teaches you to value efficiency and productivity over unrealistic standards. Over time, it builds confidence that done really is better than perfect. 4. Celebrate. Small wins. Perfectionists are experts at spotting flaws, but terrible at recognizing achievements. They focus on what's missing, what went wrong, or what still needs improvement. To rewire this habit, intentionally celebrate small wins every day. At the end of the day, write down 3 things you accomplished. They don't need to be huge. It could be, I sent that email I was avoiding, I went for a walk, or I cooked instead of ordering fast food. Why this works? By writing these wins down, you train your brain to notice progress instead of shortcomings. Over time, this builds a sense of self-worth that isn't tied to impossible standards. 5. Allow mistakes. Perfectionists see mistakes as proof of failure, but the truth is, mistakes are proof of effort. Every successful person you admire, whether an athlete, artist, or entrepreneur, has failed countless times. The difference is that they use mistakes as lessons. Try this reframing exercise. When you make a mistake, instead of saying, I failed, say, I learned something I can use next time. Write down what the mistake taught you. Did it show you a better approach? Did it make you stronger? Did it push you to adapt? Example, a student gets a lower grade than expected. Instead of, I'm not smart enough, they can think, now I know which areas I need to focus on for the next test. An entrepreneur launches a product that doesn't sell. Instead of, I'm terrible at business, they can say, this gives me insight into what customers really want. By normalizing mistakes, you free yourself from the impossible standard of being flawless and instead focus on growth. Part 3. Tools and practices. Let's now talk about practical tools, real methods you can start using today to loosen the grip of perfectionism. These aren't abstract ideas, but concrete habits you can try, adapt, and make your own. 1. Journaling, writing to reframe. Your mindset journaling is one of the most powerful tools against perfectionism because it takes the constant storm of thoughts in your head and puts them on paper. Here's how you can start. Each morning, take just 5 minutes with a notebook. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. They can be simple: a good cup of coffee, a sunny morning, or a friend who texted you. Then, write down 1 main goal for the day. Not 10, not 5, just 1. This teaches your brain to focus on progress instead of endless perfectionist pressure. At night, return to your journal. Write down 3 wins, no matter how small. Maybe you cooked a meal. Maybe you sent an email you'd been avoiding. Maybe you took a walk instead of pushing yourself to exhaustion. This habit helps perfectionists shift from, I'm not doing enough, to I'm already achieving more than I realize. 2. Mindfulness and meditation. Calming the inner critic. Perfectionism is fueled by a loud, constant inner critic. Mindfulness helps you step back and see those thoughts without believing them. Try this simple exercise. Sit in a quiet place. Close your eyes and take slow breaths. Imagine each thought as a cloud drifting across the sky. You don't chase it, you don't fight it, you just notice it passing by. When a perfectionist thought comes, like I'll never get this right, say to yourself, that's just a thought. It doesn't define me. Even 10 minutes a day can lower anxiety and quiet the perfectionist voice. If meditation feels intimidating, start with apps like Insight Timer, Headspace, or even free guided sessions on YouTube. 3. Therapy or coaching, getting to the root. Sometimes perfectionism is not just a habit. It's a pattern deeply rooted in our upbringing or past experiences. Maybe as a child, love felt conditional on grades, appearance, or behavior. Maybe failure wasn't allowed in your family, so now you fear it in every area of life. Therapy and coaching can help you understand where those patterns came from, learn healthier ways of handling expectations, practice self-compassion with guidance and accountability. If therapy isn't accessible, look for support groups online, books on self-acceptance, or even free workshops. The key is realizing you don't have to fight perfectionism alone. 4. Build a supportive environment. The power of connection. Who you surround yourself with shapes your mindset. If you're constantly around people who only value achievement or outward perfection, it reinforces your own pressure. Here's what you can do. Take a look at your circle. Who makes you feel accepted as you are? Who makes you feel like you're never enough? Spend more time with the people who encourage growth and authenticity. People who celebrate effort, not flawless results. This doesn't mean cutting off everyone else, but it means protecting your energy and making intentional choices about who you let influence you. And remember, online communities can also be a source of support. Sharing your struggles with perfectionism, even anonymously, can make you realize you're not alone. Conclusion. So what does all of this mean? It means that perfection is an illusion. It's a moving target you'll never reach. And the more you chase it, the more you lose your energy, your joy, and even your sense of self. But by shifting your mindset, adopting healthier daily habits, and using simple tools, you can break the cycle. You can replace self-criticism with self-compassion, replace pressure with progress, and replace exhaustion with balance. This week, I challenge you to try just one of these strategies. Maybe it's setting a time limit on a task. Maybe it's writing down your small wins at night. Or maybe it's simply speaking to yourself with kindness. One small step can open the door to a life that feels lighter and freer. And now, I want to hear from you. If you've struggled with perfectionism, what strategies helped you? Share them in the comments. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Thank you for joining me in this final episode of our series on perfectionism. Remember, you don't have to be perfect to be worthy. You are enough right here, right now. Until next time, take care of yourself and keep rising and reflecting.